West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. People said to me, Mash, you need to change your background. You need to have a more professional background. Look at this. I've tilted the angle. I've moved the ODI shirt to my right. I've got the polo also to my right, and I've got the yard flag behind me. One of these days, when somebody's willing to work as a graphic designer for CCP, we'll do things properly. But until then, I saw it go, you know? But as the thumbnail says, or as the thumbnail shows, as the episode title suggests, we're looking at the team of the tournament in the West Indies completed championship. We won't get into the politics. I did a bit of that on last night's live call-in show. Santoki and I are recording something late this week on the kind of overall on the championship itself, and obviously the controversy that has come out in relation to some of the Guyana players being fined for tampering with the ball, etc. We'll cover that properly in another episode. In this particular episode, so it'll be a very quick one, I just want to look at or tell you my CCP team of the tournament. And by that, I mean the best 11 players that if you were going to select a best 11, this is who I would select. This doesn't mean that all of these players should be playing for the West Indies in the upcoming series against Australia. Although, of course, I encourage you all to get in the comments below and decide if any of these 11 you would immediately put into the West Indies test side. Arguably, based on the fact that I think this is the best 11 that played in this year's tournament, the majority of them should be playing in the A-team series against South Africa A. However, as I've said in some previous episodes, it all depends on what the purpose of the A-team series is for. If the purpose of the A-team series is to blood the next set of players that you believe are just below the test level, then the squad should be made up of the majority of players that I'm about to announce. If you think the A-team series is valuable match practice for our test team, then the A-team squad should be made up of the majority of players that Darren Sammy intends to select for that test series against Australia. And one of the reasons why I say that is South Africa won't just be using that A-team series as a developmental series. They undoubtedly will be using much of that A-team series to make sure that the players who are going to play in the World Test Championship final, who aren't in the IPL or the PSL, get as much top level, if you can call West Indies A top level, as much top level practice as they can get going into the World Test Championship. That notwithstanding, here's my 11. I'm not saying that this is my 11, so I'm not here to argue about whether this person should or shouldn't be there. This is my 11. My two openers are as follows. John Campbell, 517 runs this year, come back after his ban, and it was a stellar comeback. He was the best opener in the tournament this year, and led from the front for Jamaica, this despite carrying loads of injuries this season as well. 517 runs, an average of 47, 3 centuries and 2 50s. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. John Campbell was the best opener in the competition this year. If it was up to me, John Campbell probably comes straight back into the test team versus Australia because he already has international experience. He's come back after 2 years and he's set pace on everybody in the competition. I know there'll be people who say, no, we shouldn't give up on Machel Louis just yet. And I hear that. But for the purposes of this particular episode, John Campbell, best opener in the region this year. Initially, I wrote down Machel Louis alongside him. Then I crossed Michel's name out because actually I think Cephas Cooper had a better year than Machel Louis in this year's championship. Cephas Cooper, the Trinidad opener, 452 runs at an average of 41 with 100 and 450s. Very much a breakout season for Cephas Cooper. So there's an argument to say that Machel Louis, based on his international experience, would have been a better pick, but Cooper actually outperformed him on my metrics as to who takes the other opener position. Again, there's a debate about what makes up the West Indies A team. Do you put Campbell and Machel Louis to open against South Africa A in a kind of shootout as to who partners Craig versus Australia? But maybe there's a shout for Cephas Cooper. But Cephas Cooper is in my team as the next best opener. At number 3, Kevlon Anderson. Obviously, already done an episode on Kevlon Anderson. I'm not going to go over it again. If you haven't watched the episode on Kevlon Anderson, after you've watched this one, go back and watch the episode on Kevlon Anderson. I only recorded it a few days ago. 573 runs, an average of 72, 300s, 350s. Again, I will just say that I feel that this was the breakout season for Kevlon Anderson. But of course, breakout season or not, for me, he's the best top order batter in terms of number 3 that I could put in that particular position. And it's the ball tampering notwithstanding, it's recognition of what has been a breakthrough season for him with the bat this year. He will definitely be in the West Indies A team. I would be shocked if he isn't. Number 4, the top run scorer in this year's championship, Jason Mohammed, 679 runs, an average of 75 with 400s and 050s. He got the most centuries in this year's competition. He was the highest run scorer in this year's competition. If we want to get technical, he played less innings than someone like Kevlon Anderson, Cephas Cooper, John Campbell, and he was still the top run scorer because when he scored hundreds, he scored big hundreds. He didn't just get 100, then get out. He went on to score a couple of doubles and this, that, and the third, right? So Jason Mohammed in at 4. I know he just did an interview with Sportsmax about 24 hours ago where he says he's waiting to see if he'll be considered for the test series against Australia. I'm waiting to see as well. I have no horse in this race. If Darren Sammy decides to select Jason Mohammed, Darren Sammy decides to select Jason Mohammed. What I know is that if he does that, there's no argument that I could bring which suggests he's not there on merit. We can make arguments about his age and we can make arguments about the fact that he's an uncle in this thing, but at the end of the day, he outscored everybody else. 679 runs at 75. Number 5, Josh De Silva. Now, we can quibble about should Josh be batting at number 5. I've got him at number 5 because Tevin Imlach is my wicketkeeper, and he also had a good season, which I'll get onto in a minute. So in the context of the construction of this team, I've got Josh De Silva in at number 5, but just as a batter. He's not taking the gloves. 583 runs at an average of 71, 300s, 250s. Now, he actually outperformed Tevin Imlach, but I'm giving Imlach the gloves. Okay, so my wicket keeper is Tevin Imlach. He's in at position number 6, 538 runs, an average of 67, 300s, 150. So Josh was the better performing wicket keeper, but in the context of this team, I have Josh in as an out-and-out bats because I think that if and when Josh returns to the West Indies team, I think he'll probably come in as an out-and-out bats. I don't see him replacing Tevin Imlach in the West Indies test side, not now anyways, but I can foresee a situation where De Silva is recalled back to the West Indies side in the near future, just as a batter, which is why I was encouraging Josh before the series started to not take the gloves for Trinidad. But either way, Josh made a statement this season, and clearly was hurting from the fact he had to hold the drop in Pakistan and has made runs. He's done all he could do, which was dominate the domestic level and say to West Indies selectors, okay, I had to hold my drop, but I've come back to the domestic level and I've dominated it. Okay. Imlach, like I say, in at 6. I don't think many people would complain about that. Despite the situation with Guyana at the end of the season, he can captain the team as well. Although we can quibble about whether the captain of my side should be Imlach or De Silva. But because Guyana won the tournament, Imlach takes the captaincy in this side. Then we get to the biggest controversy of it. Who are the all-rounders? After much quibbling, I decided that in at number 7, Matthew Ford. So Matthew Ford is my number 7 as an all-rounder. 396 runs, an average of 40 with the bat, with 100 and 250s. 17 wickets at 22 apiece with 1 fifer. So Matthew Ford is my lower order, medium fast all rounder. Okay, he's in at number 7. Okay, in this side. In at number 8 is another all rounder, and I didn't intend for my 7 and 8 to be all rounders because I wanted to reward both players for a very good season, and also in the context of any West Indian team, you need to bat as low as you possibly can. So in at number 8, Josh Bishop, 381 runs, an average of 42 with 100 and 250s, and 33 wickets at 26 apiece with 1 fourfer, 3 fifers. So I felt like I had to reward both Matthew Ford and Josh Bishop. Technically, both of them are frontline bowlers as well, but both of them are good enough with the bat to come in at 7 and 8 respectively. So I have them in at 7 and 8. Number 9, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, 28 wickets at 17 apiece with 2 fifers. Again, people won't like it, but again, we now look back at some of the Guyana performances, and because there's that asterisk, because people are asking questions about so on and so forth, what was really going on this season? Who knows? That's not my fault for saying it. I never decided to put an asterisk on things. The umpires have said what they said, so now there's an asterisk on things. That's their problem. But what I do know is Ronaldo was the top pacer this season for me. So 28 wickets at 17 apiece, he gets in the side. At number 10, Carrie Pierre. I know people say, Mash, that's 2 slow left-arm bowlers. It is what it is. I can't ignore the top wicket taker in the tournament. 41 wickets at 14 apiece, 2 fourfers, 3 fifers. He has to be in the team. So here's my number 10. And then complementing the pace attack, so I've got Ford, Ali Mohammed, and then I've got Johan Lane, the youngster out of the West Indies Academy. 27 wickets at 16 apiece, 2 fourfers, 2 fifers. So I've got Johan Lane, reward for the young youth out of the West Indies Academy. So my best team of the tournament is as follows. John Campbell, Jamaica. Cephas Cooper, Trinidad. Kevlin Anderson, Guyana. Jason Mohammed, Trinidad. Joshua Da Silva, Trinidad. Tevin Imlak, Guyana. Matthew Ford, Barbados. Josh Bishop, West Indies Academy. Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, Guyana. Carrie Pierre, Trinidad. Johan Lane, West Indies Academy. That's my 11. And then lastly, just some special mentions for players who I considered to put in the team, but in the end decided that I couldn't find a place for them. With the bat, Machel Louis was considered in an opening spot. He averaged 39 this year, 103 50s. Shakir Paris, I considered him from a middle order perspective, but there was just no way to justify how he could get in ahead of Kevlon, Jason, Josh, or Tevin. But he scored 105 50s this year and then at an average of 50 something, the CCC batter. So I wanted to acknowledge him. And then Justin Graves. Graves didn't play as many games as everybody else because he came into the tournament late, but he ended the tournament with an average of 53 with 200s and 150. I think he only batted, if I'm not mistaken, he only batted like 7 innings. So 200s and 150 in those 7 innings has to be respected. So when I looked at Graves's performances, I was like, does Graves come in ahead of Matthew Ford? Does he come in ahead of Josh Bishop? And initially I was about to remove one of Ford or Bishop. And then I remembered that Graves didn't take many wickets. So I felt like, or he not in enough of a volume for me to feel that it justified leaving out Matthew Ford or Josh Bishop. So Graves just gets honourable mentions. I've missed someone out. The other all-rounder who gets an honourable mention because he didn't feature in the back end of the tournament, so it's easy to forget how good of a tournament he had. Yannick Carrier averaged 38 with the bat. He only batted 8 innings, 38 with the bat, and he averaged 17 with the ball. But because he didn't feature at the back end, because I don't actually know the reason why, possibly injury, people possibly would have forgotten about Carrier as well. So there's an argument to say that the leggy could have got in there instead of whether a Ford or a Bishop, etc. And then also with the ball, just a shout out for Marquino Mindley. He's always up there as one of the best seamers in the tournament. I think he took his wickets at 18 apiece, the Jamaica captain. Not captain, sorry, Campbell's the captain. Ramon Simmons showed real consistency, and because he offers something that is so rare in the Caribbean with his left arm pace, it's important to kind of to highlight Ramon Simmons' returns. Again, I think he took his wickets at like 18 apiece. And then Josh James. There was spells that Josh James bowled where he was really showing his potential, more so with the ball than the bat. So I wanted to just kind of highlight the big Tobagan for his spells with the ball at times this year in the championship. Now, there may be players that I've missed out. Feel free to get in the comments below if you're like, nah, Mash, what about this player? What about that player? And that's cool. By all means, mention them. Tell me why you think they deserve an honourable mention. But do you feel that there is anyone out there who could have got into my best 11 of the tournament? One more time with feeling for those who missed it out. This is the best 11 of the tournament. John Campbell, Cephas Cooper, Kevlon Anderson, Jason Mohammed, Josh De Silva, Tevin Imlach, Matthew Ford, Josh Bishop, Ronaldo Ali Mohammed, Carrie Pierre, Johan Lane. Do you disagree with that 11? If so, who would you have put in instead? And lastly, if you're also commenting below, how many of that 11 should play in the West Indies A team versus South Africa A? And how many of that 11 would you or should we expect to be playing against Australia come the start of the first test in a couple of months' time? Little quick episode there. One for you to think about. One for you to get your pen. Look at, see, I've got mine. This is my pad here. One for you to get your pen, your paper, and your pad out and decide, oh, what would I have done? Do I disagree or agree with Stink London Dreadsman? Do I agree or disagree with him? Who would have I had instead? And most importantly of all, what does it mean for West Indies A selection and West Indies Test selection? Do any of those names force their way? Because none of those names, apart from Tevin Imlach, are currently in the West Indies Test side. So I only had one Test guy who gets into the best 11 of the tournament. So of the rest that I mentioned, who gets in, who plays 18 cricket, etc. As ever, you can find the Caribbean Cricket Podcast everywhere, all socials. Just type in Caribbean Cricket Podcast or go to our website, www.caribbeancricketpodcast.com, and you'll find the links to all of our social media handles, X, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, OnlyFans, Pornhub, Blue Sky. We're everywhere. Substack, we're everywhere. Just type in Caribbean Cricket Podcast and you can find us. If you'd like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, obviously like, share, and subscribe to the video. Really helps the algorithms. Keep commenting. Loads of you always comment on these videos. All of that helps the algorithms. And if you can and would like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket. Every little bit helps and counts to keep the movement going. And more importantly, to help us upgrade on what we're doing. I'd love to be able to get pay somebody to be a graphic designer to kind of help the in-show graphics. But for now, it is what it is. You're going to have to just deal with the background that I've got because, boy, what else can I do? Anyways, people, I've got some essays to go and mark. I've got things to go and do. Big up yourselves. Easter Friday soon come. We've got to have our fish fry. We give thanks, and praise the Lord. See you all very, very soon. I'll be Machel St. Patrick here at one half of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Peace.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.